All right. So, on the Mind of a Football Coach podcast, we have Coach Kilby from Liberty Hill. Coach, welcome.
Great to be here, Coach.
Coach, before we were talking before the podcast, the story of how you met Coach Bartik at Fairmont Senior that's an awesome story. Please retell that 'cause that's too good.
So, certainly a different one from the normal football connections and stuff, I'm sure. But
Hmm.
no, I've gone to church. I say gone to church for close to 4 years now, just after COVID hit. A small little church in Fairmont called Hillview Baptist. It's not really Baptist, um, but it's definitely a King James Bible believing church
Mm.
with, I think, the greatest preacher on earth. And I'm not elevating a man, but Paul Lucas is just a wonderful preacher there. But I went up there to visit, second time I've been up there, and the other family I was staying with lived right near Fairmont Senior High. Their one son goes there, and I just decided I had some time one morning, and I decided to go for a walk, grab a coffee at McDonald's type of thing, and I walked down the street, saw this amazing old, it's like 120-year-old high school. And I just, you got that football coach has got that connection. I thought, man, I'd just walk into the front office and ask for the head football coach, and he was down doing some form of lunch duty or something, or a lunch detention or something. And I went down, hung out with him for about 45 minutes. We had a great talk. I had no idea I was walking into. I'm not real familiar with West Virginia football.
Mhm.
What a successful program I was walking into. Like, they're just seems like they win a state championship almost every other year. So it's pretty cool.
That is, Coach Bartik does a really good job there. Like you guys do at Liberty Hill. Uh, he
No,
is
it sounded
awesome.
like it.
He is one of a kind too. He's one of one.
One
Uh,
one. All right.
he's one of one, man. Like he's he's his own person, and I love it about him. He's
That's
just
a
a good fella.
that's a good way to be.
Absolutely, coach. So, coach, for people that don't know, please give the listener a little bit of background about yourself, and then we'll rock and roll from there.
Yeah, I've got a strange journey. I won't go into it too deep, but I'm originally from Canada, and
Oh wow.
I coached college football there for 4 years, had my alma mater, and I knew I wanted to get to the U.S. to coach high school football. It seemed like all roads led to Texas for me, and I've been, this is my 27th year in Texas, and I've been involved in the SWAT team the whole time, and I just love the offense. Been a head coach, for about 6 or 7 years, and I'm assistant at Liberty Hill. We run the slot T offense, and it's Liberty Hill. Long before I got there, it's kind of the mecca of the slot T. They've been running it for 23 years, and the town itself was the high school itself was just an also ran before Jerry Vance and Jeff Walker got there 23 years ago. Jerry being the head coach, Jeff Walker the offensive coordinator. They were everybody's homecoming. They'd go 2-8, and they go 4-6, and people thought it was a great year. And they came in and put the slot T in and just had immediate success. And it's been a long running deal. I think we've been in 12 semifinals in 23 years or something. It's been quite a run.
Man, coach, that's awesome. So, what part of Canada?
I'm from Sarnia, Ontario, just a little north of Detroit, Michigan, just over the border.
Okay, okay.
Yeah.
I spent a little bit of time in Detroit as a kid.
Okay.
Uh,
Yeah.
yeah.
Interesting place.
Yes, it is. It definitely is. So Texas. I mean, I've heard other people's stories. Like, what you were just drawn to Texas. Like, I want to go coach high school football in Texas because it's Texas. Is that kind of how?
Yeah, absolutely. And it's
Okay.
funny. I think back in the day, this is late in 1996, 97. I started looking into it, and you know, the advent of the internet. I mean, there's an old coaches magazine that used to go out in the U.S. with like coaching jobs. A magazine went out once a month.
Oh
So funny
wow.
to think now, like jobs are, people in this kids know who's hired before it's even made public now,
Yeah.
or when a coach is resigning. This is when things are a whole month behind. You had to wait for this magazine. I
Mhm.
went up to California and interviewed a couple places there, Roseville and stuff, a couple schools there just north of Sacramento. But it just, my brother had coached before me in Texas, so I kind of had that inroad. He's
Mm.
now in North Carolina coaching, but he had that, helped me with that inroad a little bit, and got my foot in the door. And it did it. People can argue all day long about where the most talent is, Georgia or Florida or California or Texas. And for me, it wasn't. It was a lot of talent in Texas, but it was the process that goes into it. It's the massive staffs. It's the huge stadiums, all the money, the resources, the equipment. Having an athletic period, a varsity athletic period, a freshman athletic period, where kids are doing football every day, all year round, and all the coaches are in those periods with the kids every day. It's things like that that just really drew me towards Texas. They do it right there and here in Texas.
And it's so unique. I coached in Georgia for a couple seasons, and it was good, but it's not like what you're describing. I mean, it's just a completely different thing. It's its own thing.
It really is. Like I've been here 27 years and it still amazes me. It hasn't
Yeah.
worn off. The giant stadiums, the size of the staffs, the just the support the communities give you. It's pretty amazing.
Mm.
And I know
And
there's great programs in every state, and some of
Mhm.
them have amazing facilities and things, and all kinds of stuff going on. It just seems like Texas. It's kind of across the board. It's pretty impressive.
Yeah, I have a friend of mine who's a coach here in West Virginia that has been out, I think, to Texas a couple times, and he's always talking about wanting to go there. And I mean, it's like the movie Friday Night Lights that came out years ago,
Yeah,
and people are just like,
absolutely.
"Oh my gosh, that's just." Uh, it's hard to fathom in like where I'm at West Virginia, right currently, and then I'm about to move to Maryland, but it's not even. In Texas is just like you said. I mean, we've talked. It's just a different league.
Yeah, I got that feel talking to Coach Furtick, and just I don't big time or he runs an amazing program. I don't
Mhm.
like I said, I look at it as an outsider. I'm still amazed by Texas, but we were sharing stories and state championship games, telling me about some great close game they had, and just asking, is it a neutral site, things like that. He said, yeah, and described it. Said there's about close to 5,000 people there, and we played 2021 against South Oak Cliff at Jerry World, and there's 47,000 people there, and it's
Phew.
just we're 4 levels from the top. 681, 682, 581. We're 582.
Mhm.
So there's even larger crowds coming to the games after our game, but it,
Mhm.
it was a real big crowd because South Oak Cliff is an inner city Dallas school, and the
Mm.
inner city school hadn't been there in like 50 years, so a lot
Oh,
of
wow.
people were supporting them, but even if not, there would have been 35 or 40,000 people there.
Yeah, a couple of high school coaches from West Virginia go out to the state championship games. One guy for here, Coach Fairs, has been out there, and then another coach, Coach Mays. I've seen stuff he's put. It's like a mecca, though. People are just drawn to it,
Yeah,
and then because if you coach high school football in a different state, that's like what? There's 47,000 people at a high school game. You're crazy,
yeah,
but it's true, like you
yeah.
said.
And then the 6A has like 55, 60,000. It's such a cool deal the way they do it. I don't like the neutral site so much because we'd rather play in the weather. We'd
Right.
rather go back the way it was 10, 12 years ago. That can benefit us. High winds, cold, all that kind of stuff.
Hmm.
Um, but there are great parts about it. It's so cool how they start from 6-man football. We'll have two of those, smaller field, the goalposts are moved, and every
Wow.
day it just gets bigger, bigger, bigger. It starts like on Wednesday morning, and they end
Okay.
up having like 14 state championships all the way to, the Saturday night 681. There's 55,000 people there, and rosters of 200 kids on each sideline and massive bands. It's so cool when you look back to the first one and you got two little schools, with
Mm,
82 kids in each school playing 6-man or something. It's just such a neat seeing the difference in it all.
that is
And it
so
matters,
cool.
and it matters to all of them.
Oh yeah.
Matters to
Yeah.
all the same.
Yeah, for sure. How many coaches are on your staff there at Liberty Hill?
In the high school or the whole like junior highs, and
Well, let's go piece by piece. Let's high school. How many are on the high school staff?
we have 13 football coaches in the high school.
In the high school, like
Oh,
teaching in the high school.
yes.
Wow.
You
Okay.
can't you can't coach in Texas unless you're a full-time employee in the school district.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh,
So we
wow.
don't we don't have truck drivers or lawyers or guys
Mhm,
like other states. Some have where they come in and coach.
mhm,
Where you have to be an educator in the school building to coach
mhm.
there.
Okay. And then your junior high, is your junior high connected to the high school?
Yeah, we have two, but we're right at the point where we're opening a second high school, which is really going to change Liberty Hill. They're open with a ninth grade center next year. So the one junior high that's only 4 years old it's going to go to the new high school, and then the original, the Liberty Hill Junior High, feeds into us. And each of those have 6 football coaches in them. So that's another 12 we had under us this year.
Mm-hmm. That's awesome, Coach. And we were talking about before the podcast started, I thought you had to know the secret handshake to talk slot T football. And you were like, yeah, that's kind of what people think.
Yeah, secret decoder ring or secret handshake. But as I was telling you, like at Liberty Hill, anyone that will take the time and wants to come and visit us, we'll give them everything we got.
Right.
We will try to learn from them and teach them everything we know.
That's awesome. So why the slot T? Where did it come from? Like, what's the background? You know what I mean? Like, this is new to me. I was a wing T guy growing up. So like slot T's similar, but it's not the same thing.
I'm gonna mess this up. I wish we got another guy on our staff who's just a great historian of it all. I'm gonna mess up the names and things, but I'll just give it like total general basics. There's there's a couple of guys in West Texas and very successful coaches, and back in the day they wanted to take the best parts of the wing tee, what they considered, the best series, or of the wing tee, the power eye, and the veer, and they melded those 3 together, came up with, I'm not going to say a different formation, because we do run more than one formation, but not very often. But like our A set is similar to X, or the wing set. If you took your flanker out and you brought him in and kind of made him a second tight end, and in the wing tee you've got the kid on the wing, on the tight end there. We call that our set. He's back over, kind of like over the strong tackle, equal to the fullback, and then where they're halfback, I think it would be beside the fullback. He's up in that slot for us on the quick side. So when he goes in what we call like deep tom motion, 200 series tom motion, when that ball snap, we're in the power eye. He's right behind the fullback, and we're in the power eye at that point. He's also there shorter tom motion for what we can do. That's a little different than the wing tee with that guy flared out and the other back is we can run trap sweep, bootleg, and drop back off trap sweep equally to both sides. It's absolutely equal, strong side, quick side. So it's not going towards the tight end side. We are bigger usually on the strong end side than the quick side, but 349, which is the buck sweep into the slot, the tailback and the swing man, the smaller guys, it's a huge play for us.
Yeah, so that's a wild melding of those 3 styles of offense.
It really is. Thank goodness for those guys, man, because it has just been it's really impacted my whole coaching career, and we love it. I was going to say I love it, but we at Liberty Hill, we just absolutely, we love what we do. We feel like it gives us an incredible chance to have a chance to beat better talents when we get there, deeper into the playoffs. And it's just, it's just a whole order of football. It is an order of football. I like to call it the if-then offense. If they're going to do this, then we're going to do that. We, not saying we have all the answers, but we feel like we can get an answer. We might not get it in time sometimes, or we may not be able to get the kids to execute for some reason, but we feel like there is an answer to anything they throw at us. Any stunt, gap, blitz, front, anything, we can answer it.
So you're talking about it was a melding of those 3 styles of offense, but what style do you lean more? Is there one you lean more towards usually? Like, hey, we run more of these style of plays?
Without a doubt, the misdirection, the wing tee, our A set, our 300 series consistently is the biggest series for sure. And it is trap, sweep, bootleg, both ways. Not many bootleg passes thrown, but lots of trap and sweep.
Right. And
I mean, we'll get into games where, it's a lot more power. It's a lot more 400 or G series or our 200, which is becomes our power eye, with what looks like an option, but it's loaded. We're not optioning anybody. It can look, we can get into games where we become much more power oriented for sure. If we play teams just phenomenal at reading guards and we can't seem to false key them, and nothing's going that way, and sometimes we just say, what are we doing? Let's go right at them, and we end up sometimes having some success, and that's how we get ourselves out of a hole, just going back to power football. But overall, first thing we install is the 300 series, and
Mhm.
we're going to establish that misdirection big time, and our kids sprinting to the line of scrimmage. And we just want to be a purple wave when that ball snapped. Just,
Mhm.
guys on angles, ball carriers going everywhere, and fakes happening everywhere.
The sprinting to the line of scrimmage, how often, I mean, obviously, you guys do it all the time from what I've seen,
Hmm.
what we talked about. So how much are you worried about line splits and, like, their vertical alignment to the ball? Or you know what I
Yeah.
mean? Because it's happening
Oh
so
yeah.
fast, and,
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
line
There's.
calls, like, are there line calls? Like, are there not? Because it's just going so quick, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
it's wild to watch, like, you guys run to the ball and the ball gets snapped, and you're like, "What
Yeah.
the" you know?
Yeah. I'll try to. There's a couple of questions there, like the lines, the splits. Um, because we've been running so long, our kids are pretty good with them. They just
Right,
have
okay.
that feel.
Mhm,
Sometimes you get a new starting guard or something. He's always too tight or something. And coaches are
mhm,
just constantly harping on him to move out, move out, move out. The depth, they're pretty good with having an aim point on the center. He goes up there early. He leaves the huddle way before. So he's set. His feet are set, and they line up, the helmet on his hip. The line calls, it'd be great clinic talk, coach, for me to say, oh yeah, our kids get up there and make their line calls every time, but there's no way they do.
yeah, there's no
Um,
way.
we're on them all the time, and we know there's kids, they're going to make line calls when it's coming right behind them, when it's critical, and
Right.
forget when it's going away, or that kind of thing. Um, no doubt, and sometimes it's just too fast, going away, coming at you, whatever. We're snapping that ball so fast. Sometimes our kids don't get the calls in.
That's okay. Because man,
I'd
it's
like to
it's
say,
it's
yeah,
awesome.
we have a philosophy that we're going to go so fast that I don't mean every play, but eventually our goal is to just wear people out to where
Right.
it's just that purple wave coming at you, and we're just waiting for your linebacker to take a step the wrong way. And if we're on our angles and doing it, doing our
Mhm,
thing, then we're going to get you. We're going to pop
mhm,
it and be out of there.
mhm.
It is we do get a lot of feedback from defensive coordinators say we thought we had you, but it just kept coming. Our kids would come off and they're just, they slunk lower and lower and lower.
Mhm.
And they just said it was just faster than anything they could have come close to simulating in practice.
Mhm. Yeah, and what made you guys go to the sprint to the line and snap it?
Yeah, that was a big time Jeff Walker thing, who
Okay.
was our head coach for years, and he passed away of cancer
Mhm,
in 2021. And his brother Kent took over our
mhm,
defensive coordinator, and he big believer in the slot T. He wanted to keep it, keep everything rolling and everything same way it was going. Um, but Jeff's mind just worked towards everything going faster. How can that football, from the moment we leave the huddle to how can that football be 2 yards downfield before the defense has a clue what's going on and who has the ball?
mhm,
So sprinting to the ball, if you go back to Liberty Hill when they won state 06, 07, they were going to the ball pretty good, but they were
mhm,
still on two long snap counts, hollering out color number. Sometimes it would look kind of fast on quick. Sometimes it would slow down, and
mhm,
the running wasn't. It was a year before I got there in 2018. Well, the year I got there, we talked and we said, let's do it. He had the idea, and we said, let's get rid of. I won't get into it all, but in the slot
mhm,
T, there's color and numbers and some long cadences, and we just said, what if we just cut it to, everything on quick is red, and on one it's ready hit, and on two it's ready hit as fast as we can go. And we jumped off. That was not my first year 5 years ago. We made it to the quarterfinals, but we struggled early in the year. Um, and we had a lot of offsides. It was a walk on the wild side to our kids, and
mhm,
we thought, should we go back? And we said it, but we were never even considering it. We thought, when we get this and we go fast all the time, it's going to be a huge benefit to us.
mhm.
Um, and Jeff's mind just worked that way all the time. How can things go faster? And that's one. Learned many, many things from him, but that was one. You always look at a play of whether it's the guards, whether it's the halfback, whatever. How can the play go faster? How can it
Mhm,
be hitting the line of scrimmage quicker?
mhm.
One great
Yeah.
one thing that I think was fantastic to learn, because as a head coach, I always tried to go fast,
Mhm,
and never like, how is Liberty Hill going that fast?
mhm,
And Jeff sometimes made things so simple. He just told the quarterback in practice, don't worry about anybody being set. We'll get that kid. We'll get that swing man down the end. We'll holler at him, up, down, we'll get him right. But as soon as the quarterback starts peeking around, the halfback behind him back there knows he's going to look. I got time. It snowballs and everybody. So he would just run up there and snap the ball. And they got on kids in practice. And, the program's really rolling. Kids don't want to let it down. So kids just know, they just, sprint, they fire those hands down. And we get a lot of coaches, just screaming and hollering that we're not set. And there's no doubt sometimes we aren't set.
Right.
And we get away with some when we get called some. We've had games where got called 3 times in the first half, but we will not slow down.
Yeah, that's so cool, Coach. I have a friend of mine in Ohio that they're the same way, and I just think that is such a unique thing. Especially like as people are preparing, you're trying to get the scout team to replicate that, and I mean the defense has to line up for you, like where they're going to be, like 'cause they can't flip or you better be set, at the ball ready to go.
Yes, that's one thing this really did. Tuesday used to be stunt day, and you bring all these stunts, and you're mad at the fun team kids because they're not coming at the right time, and clipboards are throwing. Everybody's frustrated. You have to do it 4 times before the guard picks up the blitz through A gap and all this stuff. And once we started going fast, people they can't do it. And the good defensive coordinators know, and they stay in their base, or they might have a wrinkle or two, but they are going to have a really hard time stunting against us.
Yeah. And when you install, like, what are you thinking first? Are you like a trap, buck, waggle, or okay? Is that
no? It's just like I said, it's the 300 series is going in first. Which is the wing, you would call the wing tee series. Our 300s is the wing tee. It's all the misdirection. Every series has misdirection for sure. Every one of them, because once you get one tackle trap in, you can run it off 2 or 3 different formations in series.
Right.
Snap counts. That's another thing cool about our offense is the snap count is married to the series.
Oh, okay.
So the quarterback, in theory, could not even call. And I know I'm getting off track and we go back to where we were.
No, this is good. Yeah, keep going.
In theory, the quarterback could not say the play in the huddle. Hey, right, Tom, 234, 236. Say on 2 on 2, we say it twice. But if they know it's 200 series, it's on 2. And they've known that since the 7th grade.
Oh, wow.
If it's a 300 series with Tom motion, it's on 1. Without Tom motion, it's on quick. 400 series with Tom is on 1. Without Tom, without motion, it's on quick. 600 series is always on quick. So our 600s are jet series with tons of misdirection, and it's on quick. And so in theory, you could leave the huddle and the quarterback forget, or you not hear the quarterback as we're sprinting to the line. It's 6 to 8. It's on quick.
6 to 8. I like that.
That also makes us vary the snap count naturally.
Right.
We don't have to put it on the quarterback to be changing it up, and kids have to really focus. They just after a while, they just know 200 series is on 2. Got an old saying, 200 series is on 2. It's always been on 2. It'll always be on 2.
Always be on 2. You know what I find interesting? The 200 series is interesting to me. Like that's the one I'm watching. I'm going, this is unique. Like I've seen wing tee, I've seen power eye. Like what is the 200 series to you? Because there's trap, but then there's like the 8 home run thing. Like that's a wild series.
Oh, 8-hole reverse.
Oh, hole reverse. I'm sorry, I didn't know what HR was. 8-hole reverse. Okay, that's what
8-hole. 8-hole reverse is actually the 300 series. It's not 200. Yeah.
There's a 200 one where I was like, this is wild. Like he opens like it's.
It used to be the first series people installed in the slot tee. Coach Bush, a great coach here in Texas, one of the godfather of the slot tee, taught so many of us, and through his the family tree of his coaching, and he would always install the 200 series first. When I say 300 first, that's kind of on Liberty Hill. That's we've changed, evolved to that. Used to establish the fullback and power football, but we only run 3 plays in the 200 series. We've got the power, the kick out that looks like an option with the fullback and the tailback in motion. And it's a load. We know if we're kicking or isoing on the linebacker, we know who we're going to double team, all that before we go. Everyone's going to get blocked. Then Then we have 228, which everybody makes fun of, where it's a full ride, and we like basketball chest pass that out
Yeah.
12 yards out there. Everybody makes fun of that. So why don't you just pick it up and throw it?
Right.
But that really stretched the edge of the defense if they're, peeking it. And then we have a tackle trap off it. So every back, fullback, halfback, tailback, if they're fast flowing on that, we have a tackle trap to the halfback, and that's it. That's it. That series is just 3 plays.
Yeah, and then like you guys can ISO with the halfback or kick out, depending on front, is what I was looking at, and that's interesting. Yeah, that's interesting.
Yeah, that's easy stuff. It's just, and that's a great thing of how that series used to be on 2, and used to call out like set, blue 400, ready, hit. That's a ton of verbiage. I can't.
Yeah.
Going back now, it blows my mind. But the blue 400 was telling everybody we were running the 4-hole. The quarterback said red 600 told everybody we were running the 6-hole.
Right.
That's all predicated on whether the strong tackle's covered or not.
Right.
If the strong tackle's uncovered, he and the strong guard double, strong end bases, and halfback leads on your linebacker. If the strong tackle's covered, he and the strong end double, guards going to linebacker, halfback's kicking out the 9 on the strong end. We're running just slightly wider. We don't change anything in the backfield. The fullback's just going to slide to the hole. But that was the toughest one. When I talk about 5 years ago, when Coach Jeff Walker, when we were discussing it was the 200 series is a tough one. And we realized that the linemen are going to get it. That strong tackle can run up there. They can remember, I'm the guy covered. It's me and the strong end. I'm always in a double team. I'm uncovered. I'll double with the strong guard. The toughest one was the halfback, because he's banking on a line call, and we're going fast now. We cut out all that. We're just ready, hit. So he's banking on a line call, which he may or may not hear, and that strong tackle may or may not make.
Right. Yeah.
Or the strong guard type of thing. And if it's a big stadium, loud, he might not hear it. So what we've pretty much gotten down to is just he is going straight ahead like 234. It's kind of the old Cloudy Clear thing. If he sees a big hole, he's just leading. And sometimes when he's getting out of stance, if we're playing a 3-4 team that's just died in the wool 3-4, he knows he's kicking out 99%. If they don't move their front or anything, he's getting out of stance. Even if the tackle doesn't make a call, he's right behind him at 3 yards, 4 yards. He can look and see that tackle's covered. I'm kicking out. So it wasn't as hard as we thought. It was just getting the halfback to just not be hesitant and go.
Yeah, that's awesome. That is awesome. And I saw the power eye. I was like, I didn't know slot 2 was power eye. Because I've watched some of your clips of games on YouTube, and I'm like, okay, so they got the eye too, because we've run the eye different places I've been. And
hang on now, power eye is fullback, halfback, and tailback behind him. You're talking still the tailback in the slot?
Like you guys, there's some clips and stuff you sent me. There's like a fullback, tailback, and like a guy in the slot. Yeah.
We call that O set. That's not I.
O set. Okay.
Yeah. I is the tailback back in the I. And the halfback, it'd be a true power eye. It'd be
true power eye.
Beside the fullback. And we don't run that at Liberty Hill. That's O set. So you still got like your tackle traps because your tailback's right there. You got quick side power, strong side power. You can run 8-hole reverse out of that, A set or O set. But yeah, that's just a slot T. Everyone's like, you're in the I. Now we're in the O.
Right. Yeah. I'm the O.
It's
right.
the halfback back there. Yeah.
I tell you, that 8-hole reverse play, like I had to watch it a bunch. Like what is the quarterback's motion? Like who's he faking? What is he opening? Like that. Wow.
Yep. It is that and the fullback trap off that 3-3-3 tailback round, because it's got 8-hole action. But those 2 plays have more misdirection than anything in the offense. I mean, it's just an absolute starburst in the backfield. It happens so fast. And really, you can break it down. I think we're used to be much more mechanical, and that goes back to Jeff Walker's mind of everything going faster. And the quarterback now, it used to be, and I won't get into it all, but he'd come out, he's got a cowboy, he's got a drop step, cowboy step, and that just becomes second nature after a while. They got to pull out of there fast, get away from the guards. But he would seat the ball, and the fullback, he's gone. You don't have time to fake to him. But it used to be in the old day, you give a hand to the halfback, and your head would follow him, and then you reach to the tailback. And we get that ball pretty much on the midline, straight back. We don't do any of that now in terms of
Mm.
faking. We are literally, we're coming out of there, fullback's gone, he's an A gap passing us, and we are literally following the halfback, already getting on our fake, and our kids sometimes are wrapping it around his low back to get it to the tailback. Like, that's how close it is.
Oh,
But
wow.
everything is to try to make sure everything's going faster. I always wondered why Liberty Hill's 8-hole keep looks so much, it was just better than other people ran it until I got there. It's because that quarterback's already moving. He's not waiting. When I would run it, he'd get there and give it to that tailback. He had to get going. He had to, his feet had stopped. He'd done this fake to the halfback, and then he had to get going again. Well, that little get going, the defense has figured it out, kind of, and that's a play that can be a big play sometimes when, like, just not run very often ever, where the quarterback just kind of keeps it. But it's huge, and he's already moving at all times. That's when we coach our quarterbacks, it is eyes are on the feet at all time. Those feet cannot stop. They're moving the whole time. In theory, that's what we're aiming for.
Yeah. And then the play action game, obviously, because the run game's so good, it's just the guys are usually running wide open.
Yeah.
Hey,
sometimes
nobody covered him.
Sometimes we can't hit them, and sometimes we hit them and drop it. But yeah, we take a lot of flack for not throwing the ball much, and we understand. Like, people want to see the ball in the air. We had a rough start this year. We ended up 10-5 in the semifinals. That's not a good year in Liberty Hill. Like, to go 6-4 in the regular season, things were really touch and go for a while. And I think we threw just outrageous for us, like 52 passes this year or something like that. And that's so much more than, in 15 games. The year before, we were 13-2, and we threw 21 passes. So that's a little more. 15 games, 21 passes. That's a little more our ratio usually. And it's not that we don't like to throw the ball or don't want to. It's just the last couple of years we've been averaging close to 10 yards a carry every time we hand the ball off, and it's just hard to pull that trigger sometimes when you're just things are going.
Yeah, if you can hand it off and get 10.
Yeah.
I mean, that's guaranteed.
Yeah, obviously you're not getting that every play, but you take in all the big plays and then you look back and you think, why are we looking at throwing the ball when we're averaging 9.5 or 10 yards a carry amongst all our backs? So it's an enjoyable offense. There's no doubt. We like it.
Yeah, and it's so cool to see how it's ran. It's been run for so long, and at your place, and like every level runs it. And that's man.
Yeah, it's not just 7th grade too. I mean, we got dads here in the community. It's run well in like the 3rd grade when they start playing Pop Warner. 2nd, 3rd grade, they're running 8-hole reverse and 3-3-3 tailback around. They're learning rules way back then. I got a good buddy who coached it for years and years, and he was adamant that those kids learn the rules and learn how the high school did it. So that's pretty cool.
That's really cool. I mean, that's something that I think good high school programs do. You build it, right? Whatever your flavor is, you build it, and the youth leagues run it, and then if you have a junior high, they run it, and then you can make it consistent.
Yes, absolutely. And that's, I think, Liberty Hills, it's been real fortunate that since the slot T came in 2000, we've had 3 head coaches, but everyone just huge believers in slot T. It wasn't any question. 2 have been defensive guys. Jerry Vance and our coach now, Kent Walker, are defensive guys, defensive coordinators. But fully bought in.
What defense do you see the most?
Well, it depends what year you ask me. We get the people's defense or flavor of the year. It seems like it shifts over the years. I remember a few years back, man, it seemed like everybody was running a 5-3 stack. And it feels like this year, and maybe it was this, PNG beat us the last 2 years in the semifinals, and they do an outstanding job running the base 3-4. And they're really great at their keys and their reads, and big old kids, and they're really well coached. And I think a lot of people have gone to that and run the 3-4. And sometimes we see it only the week we play them.
Right.
It might be a 4-3, and we get out there and they run 3-4. So,
yeah,
which usually people who make a wholesale change. We're going to have our way with them 9 times out of 10, just because if kids are, first of all, they got to learn something totally different in 3 days, and then their coaches changing fronts on them or trying to do multiple fronts. They may get us for a while, but usually we can figure it out, and our kids will execute and go get it.
Mm-hmm. I remember I did a study. I didn't go out there or anything, but I studied Katie's defense a couple of years back. They were 3-4 quarters, like almost every play from what I gathered.
Yes. Gary Joseph, his son is the head coach at Port Neches Groves.
Oh, okay. There you go.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. That's exact same 3-4. Yeah. And our head coach, Kent Walker, he spent a lot of time out with Katie as well. We were in 3-4. A lot of similarities.
And 3-4, 50, whatever people call it. When you watch college football and you watch guys like the service academies, well, what do they run? They're trying. They don't have the best dudes necessarily, but it helps them stay competitive and be really good some years.
Right. Absolutely. Yeah. It's we've got great kids in Liberty Hill, and we'll get a few, like, we got a kid playing Army right now. We played in the 2021 team and stuff, but I'm 5 years there, going on 6th year, and we have not had a guard over 185 pounds yet.
Oh, wow.
In the first couple of years, I could say we haven't had a guard over 170 pounds.
Right.
So,
yeah.
In 5A football, we are, we're not. Now, those kids are all running 4.8, 4.85. They're, they can go, and they have to play, stay in front of our backs and to do what we ask them to do. We're not looking for a big, 230-pound jug butt guard who can't, power steering and stuff. It'd be great to have one that
right. Yeah, for sure.
If he ran 4.8.
Yeah.
And have power steering.
So
we don't get them.
What does your practice schedule look like? What is a Tuesday in season look like for you to get your guys ready to play?
Yeah, our Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday are very, very similar. Wednesday we do a little bit of goal line, and Monday, Tuesday we hit the sled at the end of practice. We do sled and cage, the whole team. Wednesday we don't. We pull back a little bit, but it's very. People who are not in the slot tee are surprised at how much team we do. And I grew up, hearing that coaches don't know what to do. They scrimmage. They don't know that mentality. They just get in team and run plays. But there's no way we can. I mean, we have our individual periods at the beginning of backs where they're working blocking skills and things like that. But it's all operates so closely together. It's very hard to do anything in small groups. With a quick side. We can do some strong side, quick side, and we do sometimes maybe if our kids aren't physical enough. But really, people are surprised when they come and see us, and we don't hit it all in practice. They think, oh, you're so physical. You guys must just be. They think we're going to be, knocking down the dirt and scrimmaging, and we just have kids that holding bags, and it's too much to ask a kid. We probably are going to run anywhere between 180 and 200 plays in a practice with 2 huddles. I mean, 2 huddles going. I mean, it's just a constant going the whole time. And you just can't ask a kid to fire off and, get in a stance and knock him and drive him 150 times. It's easy.
Yeah, no.
They're going to start brother-in-lawing each other. I mean, that doesn't make them soft or anything. It's just not. And they'd be completely wore out by Friday night. So, if we're going to expect kids to go that fast off the ball, just running off the ball, be downfield and all those things, there's just philosophy, and we've stuck with it. We can't have them smashing the heck out of each other all week. But I don't know how much I answered your question there. We're always going to start, once we come together, with trap drill and sweep drill, and we don't huddle in that time. And we're going to run all our traps against, Monday it's going to be against 2 different defenses. Tuesday we're going to go against 3 different defenses, and Wednesday we're going to run against 2 more, sometimes what we think they're going to be in. We come back to that Wednesday. But we're going to run every trap with huddle 1, huddle 2, but they're not huddled. They stay up there. We call the play. They run the play, sprint back, get right down. We call the next play, and they go. When we go to what we call team, which some people, you're in team there, you're going 11 on 11, but we're just working strictly trap, then sweep. Then we work on power and pass. And then we are in huddles, and now we're working at running and sprinting the ball just constantly. I mean, we don't even a lot of times we double a kid, 234, 8 yards downfield, poor JV kid when he falls over or something, the second huddle's already running there. He's not back to being a 5 technique by the time. We don't wait on him. We just go. I mean, that doesn't happen very often, but we're not going to slow down waiting for, Oompa Loompa to run back and get lined up and, so we can run the play. We're just going. We're going and going and going.
It's so interesting, though. I love talking to coaches like yourself and guys that are really good at what they do, because teams that play physical on game day, what I found doing this podcast is most to all, I say pretty much all, practice like you're talking about.
Is that right? Yeah.
Like
yeah.
if we expect them to be war daddies, for lack of a better term, on Friday, we better leave something in the tank, so to speak. You know what I mean?
Right.
Don't kill them on Tuesday and Wednesday. Now, there's a style of football you're going to play, whether it's slot T, power T. We're just going to get after it in practice, like you were saying. Like, it's timing, fundamentals,
Yep. And we're not very physical early. Like, I don't mean that negatively, but usually it takes us to game 3 or 4 to really start hitting our stride. Because some kids don't have good technique early. They're a little high, or they just don't. They're figuring it out on the go if they're a new starter, or sometimes even returning. But in going that fast all the time, I mean, like, I'm that backside strong end. We're running 349 the quick side. He is sprinting across the field. When you train yourself to go that fast over and over and over, it's kind of making you be physical. I mean, if you're going to slam into somebody as fast as you can run, you're even if you're not real tough yet, it's gonna be physical by nature. There's 2 things that get us there to being physical, and that's like going fast all the time in practice, that we were trained to go fast in a game. But it's our off-season, it's our weight room too. Our weight room is unparalleled. Everybody's going to say they believe in the weight room, but it's a different level of belief in Liberty Hill. We I guess you could say every day's boot camp in that weight room. We are going to challenge them, test them, and it is a gut check 5 days a week. We do legs Monday, Wednesday, Friday. They squat 2 different stations. It's 6 days, 60 minutes of just I go, you go, I go, you go, as fast as they can on command. We don't even use this is really interesting to people who come in. I'm so used to it, done it for so long, but we don't have like percentage cards, or it's just, if coach does this, it means put more weight on, and they know. As fast as they can. We are going to absolutely wear them out, just with sometimes a station. If we're doing sets of 3 in a 9-minute squat station, we might get 17 or 18 sets in if you and I are working together.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, they are trained to go for 4 quarters. That's before I got to Liberty Hill, I'd always go, man, every single kid has hamstring and rear end developed. Like, every one of them has, really developed hamstrings and, big butts, and not big, but, they're filling out their pants, big time. There's no skinny, rear ends over there. And you come by our weight room and you quickly understand why.
Yeah, coach. I mean, this is like gospel. It's just so refreshing to hear this style of football.
It's old school, isn't it?
Because it is, man. And like my high school was like that. Like, we won 2 state championships, junior, senior year, and it's like that style works. Like, it still works. It's not like you have to go find a different way to do it.
Absolutely.
Like, that still makes it happen, man.
And we believe it's we have that much bigger a benefit that now that everybody runs the same line, everybody runs the spread, because that strong safety outside linebacker that's covering the number 2 receiver his whole career. He plays us. He's got to come on and take on a kick out guard now. He's been covering the slot receiver and kind of looking for GT and playing CBA, but against us, it's strong guard coming at him play after play after play on sweep, where he's got to sprint and chase across the field. And that's, a lot of times we'll face kids. They're tough kids. I'm not dogging them. There's a lot of tough kids out there, and they'll rock our guards early and, bloody their noses and all that. But over 4 quarters, it's kind of like you see them start to look over the coach, like Again, they're used to covering the number 2 receiver, or tighten up a little bit in the tight end 3 times a game. They got one or something. It's a whole different world when you play us. Our guard may not be tougher than that kid, but over 4 quarters, he will look tougher a lot of times.
Yeah, no doubt. So when you were talking about your play series, how do you guys differentiate like right and left? Do you do like a traditional number series, or how does that work for you guys? Like you run the play left,
Whether
run the
the
play
play
right.
is going right and
Yeah,
left,
where the play's going. Yeah,
well, we're flipping our line, right?
right. Okay,
Completely flipping our line. Like we have A right, A left, or O right, O left. Every formation we
right.
have, we can run it either way.
Okay,
And strong side kids just know if it's called they go with the strength. If it's A right, strong side goes right, quick side goes opposite. If it's A
right.
left, strong side goes left. And to coaches who've never coached in that coaches struggle with more than kids, because I learned it young coming to Texas, and I struggled with it for a year. It's just seemed like so much going on. Oh, now we're flipping the line, running the same play over here. But to a kid, it's easy. If I'm a strong tackle, I got my 4 hole here, and I got my 6 hole here, and if we go left side, I just pick up my holes and take them over there. We're running the same play over there.
I gotcha. Okay,
So it's like you're doubling your playbook. If
right.
you want to pick on a defensive end or run away from a stud defensive end, you can go a whole half running 90% away from that D1 defensive end or linebacker if you want. And they're going to figure that out eventually, and those guys are frustrated, and then we come back at them maybe later more. But yeah, we think it's a huge benefit. We're old school. We don't have a 0 or 1 hole. Maybe that's a little different than slot T, but we're 2, 4, 6, 8 hole on the strong side and 3, 5, 7, 9 on the quick side. So our plays, people laugh at them. They say it sounds like 1963 Vince Lombardi stuff. But it's A right Tom 332, our right Tom 328, 319 run. They all have 3. There's a series. There's the first number. The back who's getting the ball's the second number, and the last number is the hole we're running.
So that if let's say you're strong right, you're running towards the tackle, that's the 6 hole. But if you go strong left, the 6 hole now goes to the other side.
Still 234, 236. It's the same play. Absolutely.
So like you can call 236, but that could be to the left because the strong side's to the left now.
Yep.
I got you. Okay, so that was what I was watching your stuff. Like now it makes sense. Now my brain's like, I got it. I got it. Okay.
Yeah. And it's always a fun sell. Like when I would go, if I had gone in somewhere new back in the day as a head coach, or even an offense coordinator, you're stalling it. But as a head coach, I remember going in teams that run spread or whatever, and you're in day 1, whatever you put in, you say, how many plays we learned? They count 6. No, 12 guys. We put in 12 plays. And they're all confused. You're like, you've got the same play over here and here and over, you got the same plays going both ways. That's 12 different plays to the defense. So, it's a little selling point.
That's good though. And I've heard of people doing that, but I've never seen somebody on film do it. You know what I mean? It was like an urban legend. Then I watch your film. I'm talking to you going, oh, okay. Yeah. Like that.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Absolutely second nature to us, like our kids, they're not confused by it. Again, it's coaches who've never done it. They're like, when I came to Texas and started learning, I was struggling big time that first year. I'm like, yes, well, wait a minute. Now we're, it just blew my mind for a while. But then once I got it, the kids will pick it up pretty fast if you're confident as a coach. As a coach, they'll pick it up pretty fast because they're not worried about everybody else. They're just worried about their little world and, what they've got to do.
That's like the traditional wing T numbering. It's like 1 to 9, left to right. I've had friends coaching that system, and they said the first year it's like, but then once you get it, maybe not a year. I mean, I'm saying within the first year,
yes,
it clicks, and you're like, okay, I got it.
Right.
Because it's just how you do it.
Yeah, the slot T definitely is its own verbiage. Like we'll say stuff, and people just double take. Like, what language are you speaking? And to us, I've been speaking it for 27 years now. It's like old hat.
And what's cool though, from talking to you, like that hasn't changed much since the beginning.
No.
Like it's just that language has stayed the same.
Yeah.
Which is so that's like Mike Leach in the air raid when he was still living. Like he used the same terminology forever.
Yeah.
That's awesome, man.
Yeah. Well, yeah, you say 8 hole reverse to any slot T coach or any, they know exactly what's going on. Most defensive coordinators are in our area pretty much know all the play call. You know what I mean? A lot of them know it too. Just if they've coached against it a long time, they can say it all: formation, motion, play, everything. Now getting their kids to react and do it fast is always another thing.
Does your quarterback come over to get to play?
No,
Okay.
we're old school. We send we usually have that position, the smaller tight end, the
hmm
swing man.
hmm
He runs in the play to the
Oh,
front
okay.
of the huddle. Yep, and takes it there. We've had problem with people, or not problem, but people try to so unsportsmanlike. And some officials just are so mixed up on this. The old substitution rule. So they will just waddle a tubby defensive tackle off once our swing man goes in. Knowing that they've got time, and they just try to slow down all our timing. So we
Wow.
run up there, and then we have to wait. Because while some kids taking a sweet time jogging off the field. Officials have gotten better. This I think happened to Liberty Hill the first time about 6 years ago, and a lot of people started to copy it and slow everything down. And we've gotten better. We'll just stay in the huddle. But it's
Right.
gotten so crazy though. We will send a play in with like 20 seconds, and for
Right.
us, that means we're snapping the ball with like 12 seconds, even with the kid running on the field. From the
Right.
time 20 seconds running into the huddle, calling the play, sprinting the ball, we're still snapping with 12 seconds left.
Yeah.
But we have done that and gotten a penalty because this is the straight. The official wouldn't let us snap the ball because a kid was jogging off the field. You
Oh
talk
my
about losing your
gosh.
minds. That was really in the end. Then we'll huddle the officials, and they're like, "Yeah, we got to fix this. We can't call a penalty on a team that's trying to snap the ball, and we won't let them."
Right.
So most officiating staffs has gotten that one worked out, but that's become a little thing people try to use to slow us down.
Mm. Well, when you're good, people are going to try to find any way they can.
Absolutely. Yep.
Yeah.
The best part is just hearing them scream all game long. There's always one coach on the other sideline usually, "They're not set." He'll just wear the officials out saying we're not set on
Jeez.
almost every play, and officials aren't going to call it. You're just kind of chuckling the whole time.
Coach, that is so good. Man,
And there's
Coach,
sometimes we're not set, but we are set. We're just set we're stretching that 1 second, maybe a little bit down to about a half second. But um,
yeah, but you do it all the time. People just like, okay, they're set.
right, absolutely.
Yeah. That is so good, man.
Yeah,
Coach,
we've had times where we look back and we have a kid who doesn't have his hands close to the ground. They're this far from the ground. They're going down. We snap the ball and they didn't call it. So,
well, it's a massive humanity too. You
yes.
know what I
Yeah.
mean? Because
Yeah, to
you're
figure it right.
running.
Yep.
It's a lot for official to look
Absolutely.
at.
Yeah,
That's
absolutely.
a lot.
Yeah,
That is so good, Coach. Man. Coach, thank you for taking your time to do this. I am
absolutely.
so just grateful that you responded to my text. You're like, "Who's this West Virginia number? Like, who is this guy sending me a text message?"
I tell you,
Oh my
I'm such a big
gosh.
West Virginia fan, like I said, because I call it my church. I got so many close friends there. Um, been going there for like online for 4 years, and I just love those people up there, man. I love it. I go up there anytime. I'm gonna try to take my daughter up there this summer to
Mm.
Fairmont. Just love it.
It's a I will miss living here, and it's just a beautiful place.
Yeah,
It really is. Beautiful
yeah,
people. Uh, the hills are yeah, it's just beautiful. And great people, man. Yeah.
yeah. Wild connection for me too. And I forget this one sometimes, but my college coach in Canada at the University of Waterloo, it's about an hour outside Toronto.
Mm,
He's been surpassed, but when he retired back in, I don't know, 2000 or something, he was the winningest college coach in Canada.
mm.
Total wins. He is from Fairmont, West Virginia.
No joke.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. He became a high school coach in Ohio and ended up getting a head coaching job at Wilfrid Laurier, another college in Canada.
Mm.
And so my like every game we played in college, we'd hit go out afterwards, and you're in the pubs and all that type of thing, and they're blaring Country Roads, "Take Me Home, Country Roads, West Virginia." That was they played it at halftime at our games. They played it at timeouts because our head coach was from West Virginia.
Yeah.
Dave Tuffy Knight, kind of legendary guy up there, So
That is awesome, man.
it's a
That is
small world. That's all. It's like it's all come full circle for me now with like I said, my church being there in Fairmont.
yeah.
It's
Yeah.
neat stuff.
That
God
is
works in mysterious and amazing ways.
yes, yes, he does,
Yeah,
and he blows me away daily. That's for sure. I mean, it's
absolutely.
yeah, I without the Lord, man, I don't know where I'd be in my life. I know that's a fact.
Absolutely. Could there be a greater deal on earth? And I say that facetiously, there isn't, than
Mm,
saved by grace alone, through faith alone, in Christ alone. Trust
mm,
in his death, burial, and resurrection, and ye are saved.
mm,
Present and past tense, by faith alone. It's the greatest thing ever.
mm. You could be a preacher too, Coach. I mean,
I don't know
just
about
go
that,
ahead with it.
but
You know what I mean?
I just love the Lord, man.
That's so cool, man. Yeah, and then I gotta ask, did you eat a pepperoni roll when you came to Fairmont?
I have not. I have not. And Paul
Oh
Lucas, that preacher,
man.
talks about him a lot. A
Oh,
lot.
now
I know. I know. See, I got to come back.
you gotta come back.
Yeah.
You gotta come back. Uh, we are now vegans, my wife and I, but we used to eat pepperoni rolls when we first moved here. And Fairmont is like the place they started, I think. I mean, I
Yeah.
don't like that's like it's very well known for that.
It's funny you bring that up. The last time I was up there, it was a long, probably an hour discussion on pepperoni rolls.
Oh my gosh, wow.
Yeah.
Who was having that discussion?
All these guys from church, just
Oh,
came
okay.
up.
I
We were,
got
we
you.
were playing music one night, playing guitars and stuff, and you were talking about everything, you know, and pepperoni rolls came up. There's some other people from out of town. Like, you got to get it. And it did. I ran out of time. Next time for sure.
Yeah, and then now if you're in Fairmont, they're going to argue about what Italian place is better.
Okay.
Bartik can get kind of combative when it comes to the what Italian place is
Is that
better.
right? He likes his Italian, huh?
Oh yeah.
And
Oh
he's
yeah.
one place in particular?
Oh, he said the name before. I just don't remember
Right.
what
Right.
name he said.
But he's real partial to one place though.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. I mean, he's a lifer there. I mean, he's been in Fairmont for his whole life. Um,
Uh,
and they have a great nickname. I love the polar bears. That is so
is,
unique. I
is
mean,
that what they are? Okay.
they're the Fairmont Senior Polar Bears.
Okay.
Um,
We got a
yeah.
team in Texas, little tiny 2A, called the Frost Polar Bears
Oh shoot.
in Texas.
In Texas. Now, what's Liberty Hill? What are y'all? What's your
Pan-
nickname?
Panthers.
Panthers.
Nothing
Okay.
exciting. Yeah, yeah, yeah. One
That's
of the most
cool.
common names: Panthers, Cougars.
Yeah. Yeah. Especially that's part of the country.
Yeah, definitely, definitely. It's a great name though. The name of the town itself, Liberty Hill, it just got a good American ring to it. I think.
Is that like a Texas, like a war thing? Like
I I don't know the history of it, to be honest with
okay.
you. We're in the hill country,
Okay.
all around from Austin to San Antonio, North Austin, San Antonio, around West Fredericksburg, and all that's really.
Mm.
I was blown away when I got to Texas how hilly it is and looks like Northern California or something.
Oh,
It's
okay.
really nice. I just
Mm.
thought everywhere in Texas was like Friday Night Lights out in Odessa, flat, tumbleweed blowing, stand
Right.
on a tuna can, see 100 miles away, but it's not that way. In Central Texas, it's really pretty.
Mm. Yeah, I've seen just pictures of Odessa Permian
Oh,
Stadium, and
yeah,
it's like, what the world? It's
yeah,
the
no,
middle.
middle of
Wow.
nowhere. Yeah.
Mm.
Well, it's a big town. It's a big oil town. It's got about 100,000 people, I think. But yeah,
Okay.
West Texas is like a different world.
Hmm. That is
You,
so
you,
cool.
you, you're not in the end. You're not in the end of the earth, but you can see it from there.
Yeah, that's I have family that is in the Mesquite area. My dad's side of the family is from there, and that used to be a small little outpost. Now it just,
Yes.
the
Yeah.
metroplex is.
Like 5 high schools, Mesquite. Yeah.
Yeah. Uh, my dad's name is Storm, and my grandmother was the cheerleading coach, and so the Mesquite Skeeters, the mascot's name was Stormy or something like that,
Yeah. Yeah.
because
Yep. Skeet.
she was a cheerleading coach.
Awesome.
Um,
That's good
yeah,
stuff. The
yeah,
Mesquite
man,
Skeeters. That's right.
Mesquite Skeeters.
Yeah. The ugliest tree on earth, the mesquite tree.
Oh
Great
man,
for
I gotta look
grilling
this
and
up now.
barbecue. What's that?
I gotta look this up, but I've
Oh
never
yeah,
seen that.
just nasty old looking rickety trees, but they're great for grilling and barbecuing. Like they're great dried out wood. They're perfect for
Oh,
barbecuing, smoking and stuff, but not
okay.
the most pleasant to look at.
So I guess that's where the mesquite thing comes from for barbecue. I'm
Yep.
assuming.
Yes. Yep.
Okay,
One of those trees.
that is so cool, Coach. Well, man, thank you for doing this. I know I was talking like we are going to end it earlier, but I want to keep talking because you got me interested in something else. And I love podcasts. You can just keep going. Like you can just whatever. Yeah, you talk about whatever you want.
Yeah.
That is cool, Coach. Well, man, I appreciate this. I'm sure we'll text because I'm gonna watch more of your tape. And man, I appreciate
Did
all
you
you're
get
doing
through that
for us.
tape? The series tape I sent?
So
Or
I've gotten to
summary?
like 40 minutes, but I want to go back through it and just like kind of slow go through it. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And just
Yeah. I
learn it.
really need to update that. We haven't the last 2 years on there, and there's just some plays like 635 off the jets, a quick hitting to the fullback really fast when they widen the end, and I think we have one on there. It's not very good at all. It's just some fringer plays. After a couple of years, you don't have really any good ones, or you're against good fronts, or whatever you're looking for. But last couple of years, like we have had just home, just hit it, blocked it right, the whole 9 yards. Good stuff for teaching and showing the end widening and why we call, when we would call it and stuff. But I got to get work on updating that. See, that's a bad format there, and we've transferred it. I say a bad format, Movie Maker. I'm not a great tech guy, so I have trouble adding all that kind of stuff. But we're in the process of getting it all moved over to Huddle, and that'll be way easier to do all that stuff once all that older series tape is on there.
Right. Yeah, Huddle is awesome. I actually despise the new Huddle. I like the old Huddle Classic stuff.
Oh, I always click on Huddle Classic. That's a walk on the wild side for me. Anything tech takes me like 6 months to get comfortable with it, so I'm not going to the new Huddle.
Yeah,
they better not get rid of the Classic.
Yeah, and they just got rid of the old messaging system. Like it's a new messaging system, so like all the old messages, like you can look at them, but you can't message in them.
Right.
I was like, this is. I'm just frustrated.
Yeah.
Like quit changing it. It was fine. Quit messaging.
Right. I know. I never get that when they update, totally change things. It's like there was no problem with it. Everybody was fully functioning and having a good time.
Yeah, I just if Huddle's listening, don't quit changing stuff. Stop. It's great, Coach, man.
Yeah. Well, I hope that was beneficial in some way with the slot T. Like, I know we didn't get deep into stuff, and I probably got scatterbrained at times.
That's good.
You ask about defensive or practice schedules and things like that. But we enjoy what we do. And like I said, when people come, there's a small school in Kansas. I'm going to forget the name now. Great guys, and they won they didn't win it this year, but they won like 5-6 state championships in a row. Like they're just dominant. And they came down, and they were running like a 3-back, like something somewhat similar, but they put in 8-hole reverse and 3-3 tailback round. They wanted the most misdirection plays, and they were just texting, Coach, this is just, they were already winning like crazy. Don't get me wrong, but they just thought it really helped them and took them to another level, kind of thing. I think the people I struggle with the most. I mean, we're still going to help them and everything. When these guys were very established and they were very similar. I mean, by established, I mean very successful. I think when they came down the first time, they were at 3 straight state championships, and then it went to 5. They came down a couple of years in a row. They were like similar and looking to add a few pieces. What's tough, I think, is people come in and they want to run the spread. They were a spread program, but they want to run 4 plays out of the slot T. And that stuff never works. It's so different. You're not gonna look like we run it, or a slot T team runs it, and they expect that. They think that they come in thinking they can do that, and that'd be like us jumping in the shotgun. We would be like Ned in the third reader. We'd be throwing at the tuba section, and that wouldn't be our forte at all.
Yeah, it's got to fit your style of football.
Right. Right. Absolutely.
Yeah. And that's why I'm studying it, because that's our style. And I'm like, I want to, you know what I mean? Like there's things that I want to take and use.
Need to come down to Texas sometime.
We do. I may do that next off season. We're moving this off season in the summer. But yeah, we'll stay in touch. I'm like, hey, let's go out to Texas. Let's take the whole staff. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It'd be great, man.
How long have you been doing this podcast for, Coach?
2017?
Oh,
I
wow.
think
Okay.
2017. This
7
is
years or so. And is it weekly or
uh try to be.
try to be? Yeah. Okay.
This will be your episode will be episode this is 230 no 253 no
Wow.
353 yeah 353 one of those when I plug into
Wow.
those numbers.
Either one's a lot.
Man, just keep at it. Like both of you talked about. Like if you just keep at it and keep doing it, like you just get good people on, and
Mhm.
you get to connect with people. And I have two boys. My wife and I, we just had twin boys, and they're 14 months old. And she was like, "You're building your football library for them." And I was like, "Yeah. I mean, they can
That's true.
listen to this whenever they want."
Absolutely. That's right. That's right.
And be like, "Who was
Cool.
dad, and who did he talk to, and who are his
Yeah.
people?"
Yeah, that'll be a great resource for them. They may not watch all 350, but man, to just be able, you know what I mean? To just be able to
Yeah.
pop on, watch dad talk, and to this guy, or, this guy from Ohio or this guy from California, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, and then I don't go back to listen to myself, but I go back. We're doing something during the season, the off season. I go, oh yeah, I talked to this guy a couple years ago. So I'll go back and click on the episode and like refresh my memory of what he said,
Right.
and then maybe shoot him a text or call him or email him like, hey, we talked about this, but I need some more
Sure.
clarification or whatever.
Right. Right. Absolutely.
Or I get make a trip to Texas next off season.
That's right.
One of those.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Like, hey,
Absolutely.
let's go. We can fly up. I'm like an hour from BWI, so it's not like we can't, get on a plane
Oh,
and
is that right?
go. Yeah,
That's right.
well,
That's where I flew into when I went to Fairmont. Just I know Pittsburgh's a lot closer, but it was a lot cheaper, like hundreds of dollars cheaper to go in. And I was going to rent a car anyway, so I didn't mind that. It's about a 3 hour drive through the
mhm.
mountains there. I thought it was awesome.
Oh, it's beautiful, man. It
Yeah.
is. Yeah, West Virginia is a place that we get a lot of tourists here because of that. People just think, man, this is like, where's all the people at? First of all,
Yes.
what I mean? Where's all
Yes.
the people at?
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's
That's what I
just
remember
beautiful.
Coach Furtick and I talking about that. It's not, I think it came up. There's about 2.5 or 3 million people in West Virginia.
1.7.
1.7. Okay.
That's it. That's
There's
all
about
there
30,
is.
32 million in Texas now.
Because there's more people in Dallas than there is in West Virginia.
That's true. Yep. Dallas, San Antonio, and Houston. I'm sure either one of those would have more
Yeah.
people.
Yeah.
Austin not far behind.
No. No.
Yeah, but it's great. I love it. I love West Virginia, man. Like I said, I got that connection from all the way back to college, and now my church being there and having so many good friends. It's just I love it.
mm, absolutely, Coach. Your country roads take me home,
That's
to the
right.
to the place I belong.
Yes. Amen.
Yeah, we will miss it here. We're moving to the great state of Maryland, but we'll come back because we have a bunch of good friends here, good people.
Good. There you go. Good
Heck yeah,
stuff.
man. Yeah, Coach. Well, this has been a blast, man. I'm really excited that we did this.
Good.
I'm jacked up, and I'm sure I'll be blowing your phone up as I watch more of your install tape.
Yeah, do it.
Just
Do it. Absolutely. Give
awesome,
me a
Coach.
reason to give me something to do in that world geography class.
Hey, man.
Thanks.
So what are you teaching on this week? What are y'all learning?
World geography. We are just starting Asia. Just left Africa and just going to Eastern Asia. We're finishing off the year with, China and India and Malaysian Peninsula and then Australia and done. We only got 4 weeks of school left. So
Nice.
yeah.
That's fantastic. In Texas, y'all have your own teacher test, right? Like to be certified to teach classes.
Mhm. Yes.
That's cool,
Yeah.
man.
Absolutely.
That is cool. Well, shoot,
Yeah.
Coach. You take it easy, and
Yep.
I'll shoot you a text with the link to this podcast, and so
Awesome.
you and your people can share it or listen to it or whatever you want to do.
I'll never listen to a guy. I hate the sound of my own voice, but
I
but
understand.
yeah, for sure. I'll send it to a friend or something. They can chuckle at me.
Heck yeah.
Great to meet you, Coach.
It's great to meet you too.
All right. Well, have a great evening.
You too.
Okay. Thanks.
See ya.